Ah, nuts, it's raining. It doesn't look like it's going to stop anytime soon. It's pretty thick, all the clouds up there. I did for the test just to see about the notifications. I uploaded a 4K drone video. I just chose one last time, one of them that you guys mentioned a lot about. So I've converted it to the 4K, uploaded it. I think it'll take a while for it to actually be in 4K. It'll probably stay at 1080p for a little bit. Some of you say there's a huge difference, but again, for me, I don't even have a 4K monitor, so it looks the same to me, but maybe it would be a big difference for you guys. And speaking of YouTube, there was an update about that shooting, of course. I basically found out when I got home yesterday. So I was reading it, and apparently it was a YouTuber. Apparently she was complaining about things like, I guess, the age restrictions and basically how it's hindering her, I guess, growth and why other people are allowed whereas she isn't. That's always been kind of a dispute amongst, I've seen anyways, amongst a lot of creators and stuff like that. It's kind of crazy because you never expect people to actually act on stuff like this even though they're angry. It's a little nuts. I don't care how angry or upset you are, that's no reason to do something like that. There's better ways to vent out your frustrations than to deal with stuff like that. Actually, all these cars reminds me of the other thing I saw today. Remember that story about the autonomous Uber car that ran into the pedestrian? Well, apparently I just saw the video today, and it shows you basically, yeah, the car basically didn't recognize the pedestrian, but they also show you the camera of the person behind the wheel, like inside. You see how shocked he was. I don't even know even if a human could react that fast if they never saw the person. You can definitely see too, definitely there was not a lot of lights, so I guess it's not surprising that the cameras didn't pick it up in the car. I'm actually not sure. I'm not sure if those cameras actually have things like infrared and all that. That would have probably helped a lot in terms of identifying the object. To my knowledge too, ever since that happened, they actually stopped the testing and stuff for the time being. This was an interesting piece of tech news here. It's about drone deliveries, and it was a lot better than that other one the other day, the one that crashed. This one says, Zipline launches the world's fastest commercial delivery drone. The California-based startup's new machine takes to the skies just as the US is about to loosen the rules governing drone operations. That's something I heard a lot about, basically companies taking their drone operations and tests into different places just because the rules are more lax and they welcome it more. It says here, Zipline created a national drone delivery system to ship blood and drugs to remote medical centers in Rwanda. Now it has developed what it claims to be the world's swiftest commercial drone delivery with a top speed of 128 kilometers an hour, a hair shy of 80 miles per hour. And according to this, it's a fixed-wing drone, it says. It says Zipline is hoping its new fixed-wing aerial robot, which is both speedier and easier to maintain than its predecessor, will help to win businesses in the industries that has attracted plenty of big players. And it says they will now be able to manage 500 flights a day out of a single center compared to 50 previously. Holy smokes, can you imagine something flying that fast in a regular, like a city area just around places like these? And then there's one video that really caught my attention. It had to do with this Sinclair broadcast group. It's in the US, I believe. And it talked about how they owned all these different stations, news specifically. For example, in this case, that was controversy because all these different news stations, they were basically saying the exact same scripted kind of line. Like, you wouldn't expect that normally. You'd expect every station to be kind of independent, correct? Whereas everyone was saying the exact same thing. They were talking something about like certain fake news or something like that and why it's bad and so forth. So this source called Deadspin, they compiled this video where it seemed like they recorded, I guess, a segment of the news on all these different news stations, and since everyone's saying the exact same line, they kind of compiled it together just to show you how everyone's spewing the same thing. And holy, that's crazy when I'm thinking about it, because I would imagine like every news station, they're independent, right? Like people do their research, they talk about news with their opinions, but in this case, everyone's saying the same thing. Like, wow, that's nuts. I mean, for me, I'm not into politics and stuff like that, but it's just really crazy to see something like that. And apparently they gave a response today. It says, Sinclair says it's produced a response to express concern about the spread of such false media reports such as the Pope endorses Trump fake news story and the Pizzagate conspiracy story, both of which emerged just before the 2016 presidential election and have potentially dangerous consequences. And I guess to further, warrant about everyone kind of saying the same thing under that umbrella, if that's what you want to say, it says, it is ironic that we would be attacked for messages promoting our journalistic initiative for fair and objective reporting, and for specifically asking the public to hold our newsroom accountable, he said. Our local stations keep our audience's trust by staying focused on fact-based reporting and clearly identifying commentary. To me, that's just really crazy to think about. Like, I know, for example, probably people that work in that field, they probably get the stuff from the same source, like press release and stuff like that, and then they, I guess, put their own thoughts and opinions as to what to say. But in this case, it was like word by word, the exact same template, all these stations. Holy cow! Can you guys imagine, like, just in terms of even people creating like videos here, if we all said the exact same thing under the, I guess, guidance or control under somebody, no one's really truly independent with their own thoughts? That's just so crazy to think about. I mean, to me, it's not even about the politics stuff, because like I said, I'm not really too interested in that stuff, honestly. It's just the fact that all these different stations and sources, they're basically the same thing, just with a different, I guess, face or personality, that's what you want to call it, saying stuff like that. That's nuts. Not to say everyone's like that too, but it's just crazy how in this example, like, unless I'm being like, whatchamacallit, shown some kind of propaganda because they have some kind of issue with that station, maybe that's the case, but holy. Actually makes me wonder if people value, I guess, others who actually give their honest inputs and thoughts about stuff, because usually I can imagine, just in general, most people that do that don't get things like the bigger, I guess you can say, the corporate support and all that. So it makes me wonder how much people actually value that, because when you see stuff like this, I guess that's an example of how it is needed when you have different voices and all that. Interesting. Down here, that's not too bad. Oh, the light's all gone. Still got a ton of footage I actually didn't use for the week, fortunately. Alright, see you guys later.